Hi, Janelle here with Sheep Hill Herbs. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. So happy to have you here today. I'm happy to be alive, feeling that great cool air, sitting in the sunshine a few minutes ago, just feeling so revived. So good to be alive. So in this video, I am going to be sharing a conversation I had with the fox and the ivy. Her name is Courtney, and she is on Instagram as the fox and the ivy. See the handle? And I will put her in my description down below so you can find her. Courtney is an amazing artist, photographer. She has a really active Instagram feed with over 76,000 subscribers or followers, and she does fantasy, Renaissance, princess kind of photography. Maybe I'm not describing it the way she would, but thinking castles, epic fairy tales, epic romances, period pieces set back in time. She's really influenced by some of the stories and movies and books that I myself loved as a child. You'll hear in our conversation we talk about Lord of the Rings and the Dark Crystal, and so she's living out this amazing fantasy reality on Instagram with her creative side. So she came to one of my herb classes in my town in Pennsylvania, and it was actually a history class that day. We were talking about the French and Indian War and Fort Henry Road, and she came with her husband and grandfather, and we got to talking. She had on this amazing sweater she made. It's from the style that Claire wears in Outlander. I think it's season 5, or is it season 4? Season 5 or 4, where they're in colonial America when her and Jamie get their property and build it up, and she has this really neat short sweater on the whole season. Well, anyway, she had this on, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. So at the end of the class, we were talking. She told me about her feed, and later I went on and checked it out, and I was jaw dropping. I love her photography. I love her style, the feel. The feel was just so amazing. So if you check her out, I'm sure you'll feel the same way. Anyway, she is now doing photographs for me for a wedding vow renewal ceremony that my husband and I are having in December. We are married 16 years, but we did not have a wedding. I never resonated with the, the cultural teachings of weddings with, the bridezilla and the bachelorette parties and the bachelor parties. And I just could not get into it. But I didn't know there was a different style that you could have. Later, when I met some really cool, earthy, down-to-earth, natural friends, they had these weddings that were, with wildflowers and handmade dresses and potluck meals, and it was just people playing musical instruments. It was so me, and I'm if I knew about this, I would have done a wedding. So we're having a wedding ceremony that's kind of this Renaissance feel. I handmade my invitations. They were calligraphy. I had help with some friends. We did wax stamping and just this real kind of old feel. And I'm also renting costumery from Courtney, which is something that she offers. So she offers these photograph packages. It's you're living out your own story, fairy tale. And you can see her packages on her website by going to her handle at the Fox and the Ivy. And then in her profile, she has her website link, and well, it's a compilation kind of link. You go to it, you can see what she offers. So we're putting this together. We're putting together this fairy tale, this story, and I'm super excited. It's really fun. So in our conversation, she talks about her photography, and I hope you really enjoy this. And I'm excited to share this other side of my life, kind of broadening my channel to like encompass like all of me. So like, subscribe, hit the bell button, comment down below, comment after the video, check out the description. You'll see Courtney's information and my link tree, which links to everything that is me. Okay, all right. So I'm just like super interested in finding out how you got into all of this.
Yeah. Okay, so
how did this start for you?
So I started photography. It was kind of by accident. My husband worked at a college, and he had their library rents out equipment, so like video cameras, DSLR cameras.
Yeah.
They'll rent them out to like students and employees for like events or like classes or whatever. So my husband had brought home a DSLR camera that he was using for a work event with the college. Mm-hmm. And he brought it home, and he, was like, hey, like if you're interested, I have it for a few days. If you want to try it out, feel free to do it. So I was like, okay. So I picked up the camera, and I just started setting up more like still life kind of like, like indoor like lifestyle scenes. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And then that kind of moved into doing self-portraits of, myself just in like nature. Like that's where I like to go to be by myself. And I've always kind of liked like being the main character of your own story type thing. So photography has definitely like been a way for me to feel like a main character. So I kind of migrated into like, I've always loved fantasy. I've always loved kind of like magical, like, type things. And it kind of just organically moved into that.
I know. I was thinking we must have read similar things or watched. What did you read and watch that sparked this so much for you? Because this, like the genre, I don't know what you would call the genre, romance, Renaissance.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I feel like a mix of like all those things, like medieval, like chivalry, like, King Arthur and the Round Table. And then you have like influences like Lord of the Rings and like Hobbit and, J.R.R. Tolkien stuff. And then you have like kind of like pop culture type, like the Dark Crystal. And, so I kind of was always into that stuff. And when I was a kid, my parents bought me, I don't know if you ever heard of like Wendy Froud and Brian Froud. They do like, Wendy Froud, I believe, is like she does like puppeteer type, and I think she was sort of involved with the Dark Crystal.
Okay.
But
I grew up watching the Dark Crystal. I still have it. We had laser discs. Of the Dark Crystal. Like before VHS. Just like this really huge disc.
That is too funny. And well, it's funny because my mom and my aunt, they would call me a gelfling when I was a kid, because they're like, you look like a gelfling. So
I think my daughter does.
Like, she does. She does.
Like Kira.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, I don't know, just like that type of stuff. And my parents had bought me it was a book by Terry Windling and Wendy Froud, and it was like it was called A Midsummer Night's Fairytale, and it was my favorite book as a kid, and I still have my exact same copy like in my bookshelf. But just stuff like that I think has always been, and I think I'm more of like kind of like head in the clouds, like wanting to escape reality. So it's something that has always like resonated with me, I think. So and as I moved into adulthood, I wanted to still keep that spirit alive.
I like love that so much, because I grew up the same way. Like head in the clouds, fantasy. My dad had this like elaborate science fiction fantasy collection. So cool. I mean, it's at my mom's house. I keep meaning to bring it to my house. And somewhere after getting married and having kids, so things crept in, and I like
Yeah.
let go of this like the fantasy, and so depressing. But now, like the last few years, I feel like I'm letting it come back. So I think it's awesome that you're like not putting it in this realm of like this is childhood foolishness. Like you're like letting yourself live it.
Yeah. Because life's too short.
Real.
Life's too short. Like,
it's your
do what you love, and like you make it right. Exactly, you make
Mm-hmm.
it like your reality. Like you find ways to incorporate it into your reality, and
well, so many people escape
Mm-hmm.
like video game fantasy and movie fantasy, like all the things. It's probably why you have such a huge following on Instagram because so many people could relate to it. But like, who does it? Like, I think it's so neat that you're like.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because back before I like got into photography, I would see people doing what I do now and wishing that there was some way that I could do it, and wishing that I had like friends who knew how to use a camera and knew how to, because I had all these ideas in my head but just didn't know how to you know, translate them into my reality. And then I picked up the camera, and you know, I think a lot of times DSLR cameras and like cameras in general can be a little bit intimidating to people, but I think just taking the time to like play with it, and like not having all these expectations of I'm the type of person who I feel like I need to be like good at everything right away, but I needed to like, if I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I needed to like take a step back and say, I'm not going to be good at this right away. Things are going to look like crap probably when I first start out, but that's okay. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
And so I had to teach myself how to use the camera, how to use like the editing software, and it was all kind of just figuring it out as I go.
So how many years have you been doing this?
So doing like portrait photography, probably like maybe 3.5 years, 3.5, 4 years, I would say. But more seriously, probably within the past 2 years, like start like taking pictures of others.
Because I was thinking when I saw your work, I'm like, she has to have been working on this like for a decade.
I wish I had like that much experience, because I feel like I still, to be quite honest, have never used Photoshop. That's something that is a goal for me, to like open Photoshop. I mainly use like Lightroom for editing, but yeah, so more, because like I think doing self-portraits is a lot less intimidating, because if you don't like a photo of yourself, you can always take another one, or you can like, you know, your best angles and your best, you know, kind of as you go along. But I think doing portraits of others can be a little nerve-wracking, because you want to make them feel like a main character. You want to make them feel like they're the star of the show, and like what they imagine in their head. And you're hoping that like translates, you know, through your camera lens, and that you're capturing their, you know, what they want to, you know, show to the world. But yeah, so taking pictures of others has been about 2 years. Doing self-portraits about 3.5.
Oh my gosh. So I do want to say this, breaking from our conversation a little bit. I was so excited to meet Courtney. She came to one of my herb classes, which we weren't really talking about herbs so much. It was a history class on Fort Henry and the French and Indian War. And when she talked to me about doing photography and everything, and I went and looked on her Instagram, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how did this person find me? Because your work was just like so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, there's no one around here like this. And
I know, that's why I try to like look for like fellow community members.
I'm like, and how did you get all those followers? This is just so cool. I was so excited. I told my husband, like, look at her pictures, because it just like, I read so many. I love period. I guess I would call it period piece movies.
Yes.
Always like, I used to read tons of those kinds of books. I don't do this as much of the reading, because I don't have time, and I would like do nothing. I would just like get lost in a book. But I like to like. So, did you start your Instagram account like 3 years ago, or when did you start that?
So I had my Instagram account probably back in like, I want to say like maybe 2012, 2013. But like at that time, Instagram was more like, oh, let me post a photo of my food, you know, like kind of like that's what people were using Instagram for. So back when I was doing, like back when I first started it, it was mainly like, you know, just snippets of like everyday life that I took with my my iPod or my iPhone, like I don't know, 2 or whatever. But as kind of like the social media thing has shifted and has turned into like a real like artistic community, I would say that I more seriously started doing my Instagram account and kind of like picked it back up. Actually, initially I started out doing like a blog, and the Instagram was kind of a secondary
That's how I
piece
started
to it.
I was blogging and playing around with Instagram, but like I feel like I found my home with YouTube. I'm not. I love going on Instagram, but I don't. It doesn't.
Like it doesn't
work for me the same like creating like YouTube, but tell me, like, how did you grow that? Like, I mean, not how, but were your numbers steady, your following, or was it just like went like took off at some point?
It just kind of like I steadily grew and grew as I just like, I was pretty consistent. Like I posted every day. Like I really enjoyed, and I still do enjoy, like I love writing in general. And so when I write captions, sometimes I don't have the time to write out a thoughtful caption, but the captions are still important to me. So, you know, every now and then I'll like post a quote that's meaningful to me with not really much else. But then most times I try to write out like a meaningful caption of some sort. But so like I was writing a lot, and I think people really resonated a lot with what I was writing. And then, you know, Instagram developed like the stories function where you can share things to your stories. So I was doing a lot of that, where a lot of like like I found kind of like a little community who we would all share each other's stuff, and you know, the more you share stuff, it kind of takes off. And so I think it was kind of always been like steadily growing, and as people, I think it was just, I think the main thing was engaging with the community that was interested in that stuff, and word kind of like would spread, and it kind of just organically happened. And hashtags, I think, were another thing that was a priority back when I started, but not as much anymore.
No, stories seem to be the big way to go right
and
now.
now reels are huge too, and so like, you know, getting into that realm of things. And but yeah, it's kind of just, I think bottom line, it was just engaging with like the community that you felt a part of.
Yeah, definitely. So I enlisted Courtney. I hired Courtney to do wedding photography for my husband and I. So I've been married 16 years and never had a formal wedding. Never had, like, I was not one of those girls who like grew up envisioning her wedding. Which I would want my daughter to do. But for some reason, even though I've read all these romances and watched all these movies, I don't know, I didn't like have this like wedding vision. So I was really independent at one point, and didn't even really think I was going to get married or have like, I saw myself like with having maybe one kid and like traveling or something. I don't know. Crazy kind of ideas. But my husband and I decided to have a wedding ceremony after all these years. I wanted to for a while. And it just so happened to coincide at the same time, and finding your photographs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I can recreate like what I now envision, or what I'm piecing together from everything I've read and thoughts I've had over all these years. So I'm really excited to have her do pictures, and I wanted the ceremony to be kind of like period style and Renaissance-y. I did like handwritten calligraphy invitations with wax stamps.
Yes.
And so I'm renting a dress from her that's like super period piece, and just like creating my own fantasy kind of thing.
I'm here for it.
So really excited about that. I would love for you to share or tell me more. Like, so you started out, you're doing pictures, then you like moved into more self-portrait pictures, and it sounds like you're starting to branch out to like help others do what you like you said, be the star of your own story kind of thing. So what are you offering others right now? What do you offer?
So I have a website, and I mean, as you know, I can shoot. I'm going to be shooting your wedding ceremony and that type of thing. But my services aren't limited to weddings. Anybody who wants kind of like that fantasy magical portraits, like the main character of their own story, the star of their own like epic tale. I can do anything from like if you want a portrait with your best friend and you want to dress up and have swords or armor or whatever, like portraits with your best friends, portraits with your mom, with your dad, with your husband, with your girlfriend, or with your wife, whatever, like just it can be for any type of occasion, or no occasion at all, just because you want cool photos. But I offer like services. There's different packages that you can choose from. I do like wardrobe rentals, so if you're like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to wear for these, and like prop rentals, and you think to yourself, I don't have anything to carry, I don't have anything to use, like I have tons of stuff to rent. I have the wardrobe to rent. Like if you like are somebody who is interested in booking with me, I do like a phone consultation where I try to get your vision of what you want, kind of like a vibe of what you're feeling. I make Pinterest boards, like kind of like an inspiration Pinterest board for like color schemes, and I do location scouting. So something like if you have a particular like theme or something in mind, I try to location scout and pick places that would emulate the type of theme that you're going for. I even create like Spotify playlists to hopefully play like during the photo shoot, so that you can.
I may need you to do that.
Yeah, I'll do it. But because I find that like music can help you feel more, so it's not just dead quiet, and
I need that.
But like and also like I'm very big on like words of encouragement and words of affirmation. So like, and also if you're also not sure how to pose, like I can help direct you on like what to do and where to stand and how to turn your body and how to move your body and like that type of thing. So if you're somebody who you are scared of the idea of a photo shoot but have always wanted one, like I will be as much involved or as little involved as you want, but I am a planner. I love creating Pinterest boards. I love creating playlists. Like I create playlists for my own photo shoots sometimes when I'm alone. So, but
do you use? How do you play then? Do you use your phone or?
Yeah, I just use my phone, and I have a Bluetooth speaker that I bring along.
I want you to bring that. I want you to do that for me.
I can do that.
I mean, that's extra work, but
I can do that.
You can add it in.
All right.
Because I was thinking, how am I doing music, and I didn't have that planned. So that would be really, really cool.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk more about that too.
So I'm assuming, all right, tell us your handle.
Okay. Instagram. So on Instagram, I'm at The Fox and the Ivy. No spaces or anything like that. Just The Fox and the Ivy on Instagram.
And I can, when I do this, I'm going to put it up. And then you have in your profile your link for What do you have, a link?
So I have it's a beacon. It's like a link that takes you to all of my different social media channels and Etsy shop and all that good stuff. So if you just click that link in the bio, my photography website's there, and everything else that you may be interested in is there.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so excited. The thing that most excites me is that we found each other because I feel sometimes there's not a lot of like
Mhm.
that around here.
Mhm.
Like you know, more cities or
Mhm.
certain more metropolitan area
Yeah.
people are doing all
More
kinds
right,
of
right,
really
right.
creative projects.
Yeah.
So it was really cool that we
Yeah.
got together. So,
Yeah.
and now you can share that. Hopefully,
Yes.
share this with more people.
Thank you for
Obviously,
having
you have
me.
like, an amazing following on Instagram, but I know you're looking to get more photography clients.
Yes.
So
Yes, definitely.
well, thank
That
you
is
so
a
much.
dream. Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you
Sure.
for chatting.